It is my privilege to introduce you now to one of those who are carrying on this important role of teacher and mentor. Charlie Laurent of the Rocky Hill School is a recipient of the grand prize of Henry Ford's Innovative Teacher Award. His fourth grade caretakers of history have worked with us at Smith's Castle, created a kid-friendly website to present our history, and have done a remarkable amount of research into slavery at Hopelands, the great estate that now houses the Rocky Hill School. Please help me to welcome Charlie Laurent.
Good afternoon. I would like to begin by thanking some of the folks that made the work of these impressive learners possible. First, to the members of the Rhode Island Slave History Medallion Organization for inviting this small Rocky Hill School contingent to join you for this special event. Especially Charles Roberts and Judy Beckman for all the support they provided to us on our historical journey. We journeyed through the rich history of Rhode Island and Potawatomi Peninsula, the very land on which their school campus resides. Also, I would like to thank the many dedicated members of the Cockem-Squisick Association, including historian Bob Geek, and director Maggie Skenyon, without whom this project would not have been possible. I would also like to express my gratitude to the Rocky Hill School leaders, teachers, and families who have continued to support and encourage the incredible work of these learners. And lastly, but certainly not least, to the beyond impressive fourth graders of the 2017-2018 school year. Your curiosity, empathy, determination, and eloquence are qualities every teacher hopes to instill in her or his learners. You are truly an inspiration. In the fall of 2017, our small group of 12 traveled to Smith's Castle as part of our long-year study of colonial history in the United States. The initial sighs of disappointment upon realizing that Smith's Castle wasn't a castle at all were quickly replaced by oohs and ahs as Maggie Skenyon and Bob Geek, donned in period costume, toured us through the beautiful home. The children were so inspired by their visit that they made it their work to determine how they could raise the public's awareness of the castle and the significance of Rhode Island's history. As is often the case when studying history, the newly named junior historians made many interesting and surprising discoveries as they pored over primary documents and worked tirelessly to decipher the handwriting of the 17th and 18th centuries. Of the many discoveries was the realization that the practice of slavery was a major driver of the Rhode Island economy in the 17th and 18th centuries. Recognizing that Rocky Hill was originally Narragansett land that was subsequently settled by the ubiquitous Green family of Rhode Island, a student asked, "Do you think there were enslaved people here at Rocky Hill?" We had a new driving question. If there were enslaved people at Potawatomi in the past, how can we raise awareness and honor them by giving them a voice? The group set to work, researching census data, military records, and Green family histories, looking for evidence of enslaved people on their school campus. After completing an especially tedious day, recreating the family Green tree, I asked one of the fourth graders what she had discovered. And without as much as a pause, she responded, "I learned there are way too many Greens." After several weeks of digging into old documents, meeting with Charles and Judy, and even meeting with a descendant of the Green family, the evidence pointed to enslaved people, both of Native and African descent, having lived in Potawatomi as servants and or laborers to several members of the Green family. Furthermore, the children began to better understand that enslaved people served bravely as soldiers during the American Revolution. Among them were Greens. On February 14, 1778, when the Rhode Island Assembly voted to allow, quote, every able-bodied Negro, mulatto, or Indian man slave in this state to enlist into either of the Continental battalions being raised, many slaves, including those of the Green families, enlisted in the Continental Battalion of Colonel Christopher Green, known for leading the African-American 1st Rhode Island Regiment during the American Revolutionary War, most notably with distinction in the 1778 Battle of Rhode Island at this very location 231 years ago. Among those soldiers were Cuff Green, owner James Green, Piero and Jack Green, owner Philip Green, Esquire, Cato Green, Governor William Green. The children set to work, sharing their findings with members of the Rocky Hill School community and making recommendations for recognizing this important history and giving those who were voiceless so many years ago a voice, a collective voice that would ensure that they were never forgotten and would be honored for generations to come. The school has since approved the creation of a campus mural recognizing the history of enslaved people on the Potawatomi Peninsula, as well as the placement of a medallion on its campus. But the work continues. In closing, I am reminded of what one of my favorite historian authors once shared. History is instructive. What it suggests to people is that even if they do little things, if they walk on the picket line, if they join a vigil, if they write a letter to their local newspaper, anything they do, however small, becomes part of a much larger sort of flow of energy. And when enough people do enough things, however small they are, then change takes place. I am confident you would agree that the work of these impressive learners and their attendance here today make it clear that they are becoming an important part of that much larger sort of flow of energy. And for that, I am proud to have served as their 4th grade teacher. Thank you. Now it is my pleasure to introduce you to one of these special junior historians, now about to become junior high historians, Luke LaHoyer.
Abraham Lincoln once said, "If slavery is not wrong, nothing is wrong." It is important to learn about and honor enslaved people. By learning about them, we can give enslaved people a voice. For one thing, by researching and sharing about enslaved people, they are able to tell us about ourselves. In addition, we can stop other forms of slavery in the world by learning their history. For example, in India there is child slavery, and if we could understand slavery more, we could stop it. Furthermore, when we celebrate them, we get all different kinds of points of view, showing us the history of historical figures. Also, by studying enslaved people, we can learn more about ourselves. You can teach people that they were not just slaves, they had skills and talents. By keeping and protecting the historical documents that tell us the history of slavery, we can keep their memories. That is why it is important to learn about and honor enslaved people. Because if you don't know where you've been, you don't know where you're going.